Hi, welcome back to our YouTube channel, The Truth Rediscovered. My name is Steve. We're going to continue with our series, The Good Soil. Today's topic is The Good Can Look Different.
Hi, my name is Brianna, and I am from Shiloh Seventh-day Adventist Church. So when I was in university, I was very much into dabbling into things that were not of God. I really wanted to experience the full university experience, get bombarded with all these parties and all this stuff, and it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. But then you start neglecting your work, and that's where I fell trapped. And I started neglecting my work, and I eventually even got into a very low period in my life where I was experiencing anxiety and depression. And I isolated myself from everybody, and it just wasn't a great time. And so one particular exam period, I believe it was either midterms or finals, no, midterms. And I had to do psychology. Now I had 2 psychology classes that I had, and the midterm was within the same week. And so I was studying, I was actually diligently studying. However, I messed up the days as to when the exams were to be. So I went to my first class thinking that I'm ready to write the exam. The exam was not that day, and I was sitting in on a lecture. And so I went to the prof and I said, hey, I thought the midterm was today. He said, no, that's for the other psychology class, because he taught the other psychology class. And I was not prepared for that psychology midterm because I planned to study in accordance to the order of my midterms. So I was freaking out. I'm already in a very low place. My grades are not the best at the moment. I'm really just kind of like making it through. And so I'm going home and I'm stressed. And at that point I can say that I was at my lowest, and that kind of just pushed me like over the edge. And I was like bawling, I was crying, and I don't really do all that stuff. Like I don't get emotional like that. I don't cry like that. So, and especially in public, I'm walking home and I'm bawling because I'm like, I cannot believe this. Like I'm going through all of this and I'm still like, even though I'm studying now, I'm still not making the progress that I need to, and I'm still messing up. I'm still making mistakes. I can't believe I'm here in this moment. This has never happened to me before. I'm gonna fail my exams. I'm not gonna graduate. I'm never gonna become, that spiral. So I got home and I called my mom and I'm like, this is what's happening. And she said, Brianna, let's just pray. And we prayed, and she said, if you have to cry still, cry still. But do what you gotta do, take God with you, and God will do the rest. And so after I talked with my mom, I calmed down a bit, and I prayed on my own, and I started studying for the exam that I did have that day. And it went better than I thought it did. And I was like, I guess trusting God is something that I really need to start doing, because for a while, I really wasn't engaging in God at all. And so from that point on, I started to see God move in a crazy way in my life once I really just put one step forward and said, I'm gonna start trusting you. I'm gonna start believing that if I do my best and I bring my worries and my anxieties and my sadness and grief and whatever it is to you, that you will take that and turn it into something amazing, something that I could not have even imagined. And from that moment on, God has moved, and I can say that God has continued to bless me in everything that I have done. Even in this past pandemic, I've seen God work so many things out in my life that many other people didn't have the privilege of experiencing throughout this pandemic. And so I praise God for that experience, and I praise God for showing himself in my life so that I can have that turnaround where I can now say that I trust God, I believe in Him, and I have a strong faith that He will do everything in His power to make sure that you are good and that He's got your back.